Boom! Yeah, we are live. How's it going? My name is Tara Jack and TJ here, and it is good to having you around. If you've not been here before, hey, this is where we talk about anything and everything around property, real estate, and we do this in down here in South Africa. And if this is like your first time and you're like wondering what's all the hype all about? Well, if you're earning passive income from your properties, you would be in the same hype for like me, because you don't have to possibly exchange your time for money, and your asset get to work for you. That's what it's all about. And we do this all the time in 4 cities. We are in Johannesburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, Durban, and we buy properties and rent them out. Big building, small building, we don't discriminate, because financial freedom does not discriminate. My name is Tara Jack, and it is good to have you around. Hey. Boom! How's it going? Yeah, it is I again. Yes, Tara Jack, and welcome aboard. And today I'd like us to speak about something that we do. So we predominantly do 2 things. We do student accommodation and we do affordable accommodation, right? Those are the 2 things that we do in real estate, in the property space, right? And today I wanted us to zoom in a little bit on students accommodation. It is the right time for us to be talking about student accommodation. If you don't know what it is, it's basically when you can provide accommodation to students. What type of students? Well, it can be a college, it can be a varsity, or yeah, like can be a medical school, who knows, right? Well, the thing is that wherever there is a gap in terms of accommodation, for students particularly, this is where we kick in. And I want to go in a little bit deeper around here. But before I do that, I want to stress the fact that we've got a live course that's coming up towards the end of the month. And Retha runs the My Student House. So we've got a company that's called My Student House. It's a brand that we've got. It is growing in the Cape. And we started off with maybe around about 10 students. We are sitting at around about 350 students. We might just double up that number for 2021. Touch wood, it's going to happen. Yes, we are going to be buying more properties in that area, and we want to double up by next year. Now, Retha has put in a course, and that course is going to be available to you. It's normally anyone else who comes into our community normally pays nothing less of 6,000 Rand. But you are going to be the class that Retha is putting up, and this is only going to be for this month. It's going to be just below 2 grand, right? And why is she doing this? She's doing that so that you can get prepared, because if you don't get prepared now for student accommodation for 2021, the boat has missed you. Just like it means for some people when we announced that we were fundraising for M5 Chat, and for some people said, hey, we want to get involved. The intention was there, but the action was dololo. Yeah, right. If you're in Mzansi, you do know what dololo means. Yeah, and if you don't know what it means, it just means, well, nothing happened, right? That's dololo, nothing. Yeah, dololo, right? Okay. I don't know who came up with the name dololo, but I also like it, right? But nonetheless, today it is Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. That's what we talk about. And I want to go back to talk about the student accommodation that we are saying we want to talk about. So welcome to M5 Property Addicts. I did mention that Retha is running a class. It is at the end of the month. For 2 grand, you get to be in class with her for like 3 sessions that she's going to be having. The link is in the comments. So you can literally click that, book your seat, and you will be able to attend student accommodation for you to be able to get that at the end of the year. But the topic that I want to discuss here today is that how have we managed to win so much in the student accommodation in a short period of time? Pretty simple. we have gone out to create a home for the students whilst we are making money. And hence I have labeled the video today, or should I say I have labeled this topic today, how to make money, or how to make a home for the students and make some money. So, right. So how do you do that? Right. So let's define what student accommodation is all about. Student accommodation is a place where you are going to provide accommodation for the students. A place that you're going to provide accommodation for the students. So for some of you who are in Johannesburg, you do know that in and around Braamfontein, in and around Melville, right, there is a lot of students there. Why? Because there are particularly two universities that are there. There is the WITS, there is also down the road, there is the UJ, and all of those feed into the Melville and the Braamfontein areas. Now, it can be a 2-bed, 1-bath. It can be a house. It can be a block of flats. It can be anything for as long as it can accommodate students. Right. Are we just talking about students that are at the university? Well, that's where the big gap is, because we have more students than what the university's residents can actually carry. So for that reason, it actually gives us the ability to create money, because the students want to live very close to their place of studying. Right. Now, what kind of students then can you bring in? You can bring in first years, second year, third years, those that are doing their researches, doctorates, and all of those things. Who knows? The point is that you can provide students, accommodation to students. Now, the question that we also want to ask ourselves, another question is, so what kind of a house are they looking for, or what kind of accommodation are they looking for? It's pretty easy, right? I'm of the view that if you are one of those people who are serious about getting a student accommodation, don't just jump into it. First thing that you want to do is come to school, learn how to do it from others, right? You learn online and you get to be taught by someone who is doing it. So I don't teach it, because I don't do student accommodation. Our company does it. So as a group, right, M5 Property Group, we do it. But the person who specializes is Retha, and she is the right person to lead that conversation for you to learn more. However, my other tip that I also want to give you is that as and when you are now beginning to like what student accommodation is all about, go and visit other student accommodation, right? You might be saying to yourselves, hey, TJ, I'm a little bit old. Well, it's a good opportunity for you to actually go and see and say that you are looking for accommodation for your child, right? So you are scouting. That's what it's called. I do that all the time. I call it shopping. I go for real estate shopping, property shopping. Some people go for grocery shoppings and all of those other things. I don't like doing those things. I do that online because bread is bread. It doesn't change. I know the label that we like. Nutella, my kids like a special Nutella, and I know what it is. I order all of those online. It gets delivered to my house, 50, 60 rand, boom, I get it. My mother picks it up, and we're good. I don't spend time doing that. I spend time shopping for what brings me money. So the advice there that I'm giving you is, you want to shop around. Go and see that student accommodation. Ask, why do you have a 3/4? Why do you have a quarter? What is the benefit? Ask, I see you've got a desk there. When last did you replace this desk? It's very strong. Or it's made out of steel. Where did you buy it? Ask all of those questions. So all you're doing is you're going to someone else who is already doing it, and you can pretend to be a student if you look as young as me. Good. Right. Okay. Now, if you don't look as fresh as me, that's okay too. I said you can pretend to be a what? A parent of a student. Or maybe you don't need to pretend to be a parent of a student. You can pretend to be a brother, a cousin. Everyone could be related to a student of sort. All right? What am I doing here? As you're shopping around, it's going to open up your eyes and it's going to open up your mind in terms of what you can do for your property that you're looking for. However, if you are buying, let's say, if you're not buying a 2-bed, 1-bath right now, okay, we are in October, right? And if you're not buying a 2-bed, 1-bath, and you're going to be buying a house, I think you might be a little bit late. You want to make sure that if you're putting in an offer right now, by November, you want to be in that property. Why do I say that? Number one, you need to get the property prepared. Number two, you want to make sure that obviously the varsity where you are going to be offering a service to, that they are going to like it, right? Or you can already start marketing before the students go home so that when they come back next year, if they were at Mama or Mang Mang, you can then push them from there. Or if they were in Res, you can push them from there. Or if they were just in a slum by Angoraja, what, you can get them to you. Is this helpful? I think it is helpful, but it is not about it doesn't cover the point that I want to drill home today, which is creating a home whilst you are making money from the students, right? So we've just spoken about you acquiring the property, and that's topic number one. The topic that I want to stress on is the making money part, because everyone wants to make money, right? Let's talk about the making money part. You can never make money if you are not solving a problem. I am going to repeat that again. You can never make money if you're not solving a problem, right? The fact that you are employed, your employer has hired you so that you can solve a problem for them. That's why you're getting paid. That's the reality of it. If you're a receptionist, the problem is that when the people were coming in, there was no one greeting them. So your job is not to look on your phone and to do your nails whilst you are at the job as a receptionist. It is to welcome people, right? Does it make sense? It does. If you're a policeman, your job is to create law and order. That's what you went to school and get trained for, special skills and all of those things. And what was the problem? The problem was that we had a little bit of those people who were on the creating a little bit of rowdies in the neighborhood, and they were creating nonsense. And we started hiring more and more police. If we do not have people that are criminals, then there is no problem in the community. Then we actually don't have police. So everyone else who is employed, they are solving a problem of sorts. And the more problems that you solve, the bigger the ching. Yeah. If you didn't know, now you know, right? So the bigger the problem that you solve, the bigger your ching is going to be. So aim to solve problems, right? So what are the problems that you are going to solve in Rustenburg University? By the way, I don't think there is a Rustenburg University. I am just making that up. I like doing that, right? Oh, let me go to my favorite town, Pomporispoint, right? I know you can't even pronounce it yourself. That's okay. Now, let's go to Pomporispoint University, right? What is the problem in that area? I can give you the guideline, or should I say Retha will give you the guideline in the classrooms, but it is up to you to actually go and see what is the problem in your neighborhood or in your place of preference in terms of your investment. One of the things that we do in all of our properties, or should I say that some of the things that Retha does to create a home for all of the students that come in, is that she creates a home. TJ, what does that mean? Yes. Would you like to live a house? Would you like to live in a house that is not a home? That's the question, right? So the value add that we are putting, let me pause there, maybe because you want to think about it a little bit on what does it mean to have a home. A home and a house is the same thing. It's two different things, right? A house is a house. It's empty. It's got nothing in it. Anyone can have a house. Some people are married. They live in a house, right? I am married. I am happily married. Ding! And I stay in a home, in a lovely home. We have got kids, got a beautiful wife, and we do amazing things together. That's a home. You get the drift. So when you've got students, what are the students looking for, or what are the parents of the students looking for their kids to leave them in a home? They don't want to leave them at a house. because they might as well just go and leave them at any other brick and mortar, because that's what a house. So what is a home? What do you need to create, right? So for it to be a homely, and by the way, I can go into Susan's house. She's married to Ben, and their house could be their home could be totally different from our home, even though both of us are married, because Johnny and Susan, they do life differently. Our kids can go and stay there, but when they come back, their experience will be different, because that's Auntie Susan's house or home. It's different. So it's about the experience that you want to create. Once you create that experience, is it an experience of, oh shucks, if you lose your tag, then you're going to pay 100,000, 100 rand, right? Or is it a culture of, if you are late, you're not going to be let into the house or home? Is it a culture of, we are a family and people that stay here are a family? We look after each other, right? Is it a culture of knowing that every house that you've got a house mother who creates a culture that is driven to create a home? Or do you just get them in? And the culture is where you're coming from, anything rolls, right? Oh, you don't clean your room. We don't expect you. We don't expect you to clean your house. We don't expect you to clean behind. We don't expect you to clean after yourself. Don't worry. The nanny is coming on Thursdays. Is that the culture that you want? Hey, you can leave all of the shower and your soap and everywhere like that in the bathing room, and don't worry, the nanny is coming on Thursday. Is that the culture that you are having in a house? How do you drive that culture then to make sure that in your home you are still creating the vibe, right? The vibe of having the students available, wanting to stay there, not have to stay there, wanting to stay there. And year in, year out, they will kind of like be pecking to say, we are coming back. Can we pay our money now? You know, it's October and they are talking about, can we pay our money now for 2020? I want to secure my accommodation. So what are those things that you can do to create the home? And what are those things that you can do to make sure that the home becomes a happy home? I'm going to close off by saying that I was quite touched the other day, and Retha and on one of our properties, the house mother threw a birthday party for one of the boys there for his 21st birthday. And it really reminded me of myself, because I never had a birthday until I was 21. At the time, the girlfriend that I had, she was talking to me about, you know, are you going to have a birthday party? Are you going? And this was foreign to me, because in my family, we never had that. We were too poor to be having birthdays. But again, I also realized that it was not about being poor. It was just about acknowledging the culture, or having the culture of celebration. We didn't have that, right? So it was, well, when the birthday comes through, it was just the other day, any other day, right? But the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's very simple. What is the culture that you want to drive home? So they had a birthday and they all contributed. Whatever they contributed, we topped up, and we had a small braai, music galore, and it was a culture where we celebrated someone else in the house for the milestone that they have created, which was 21 years old. Is that not creating a homely? Had they been at home at their house, potentially this could have happened. But if it were coming from my house, then no, because we didn't have that. But this is an experience, a new experience that you can provide. You get what I'm saying here. The point is, what experience are you wanting to create for your student accommodation? Do you think, this is small things. This is small things. What else? I want to go into the chat and ask the people who are online, what are some of the things? Swanke, Anna Marie, Marilyn, yeah. What are some of the things that you guys think that could add value on your students' homes, right? If you think of yourself, right? Think of yourself as a student. What are the things that maybe I could be happier if I was at a student accommodation and these were provided for me, right? So for instance, I could think maybe breakfast. I'll be like, so cool to have breakfast cooked for me every day. Like, yeah, even if it just means J oats, you know, just ordinary oats, or I don't know, maybe the next day some cornflakes, smart what. I don't know. What are the things? Drop me in the comments, let me know. What are some of those things that you think that could add value to your house to create a home for your students that you can literally either bank some money on, right? So now we're creating the value in a student accommodation, right? Cleaning service, yeah, 100%. We can do cleaning services is one of the things that we do. Can you charge that? The question is, yes, you can. The question is for that other student who can afford to do it themselves, and you also put a restriction measure to say at any given time we can check to see in your room whether it's clean. And if it's not clean, we are going to clean it for you and we are going to bill you. What's going to happen? They are going to make sure that it is cleaned every day. What is the ripple effect in your space? Clean house, right? So you can either charge for it outright, or you can charge for it outright and you clean already all the time for them. But I wouldn't do that because it wouldn't create cool kids, right? We're not creating a generation of kids. Like, I am self-sustained. Like some days, like Thursday all the way to the weekend, I cook in my house, right? As much as I do cool property things and write books in my house. I'm still that guy. Like, my wife just looks at me as, you know, the husband. She doesn't look at bank balance or, you know, buildings. Nah, she doesn't. Like, she's like dormant, dololo, nothing, right? My kids don't even look at me that way. So in my household, Thursday to Friday, Thursday to Saturday, I wish it was Thursday to Friday. Thursday to Sunday, I am extremely domesticated. I cook, I wash, I clean, I do all of those things. Why? I got a boy child in my house who's a teenager, strolling to be a teenager. I got a young girl, and I am demonstrating how it should be done. That's number one. Number two, I enjoy doing it. I enjoy to see clean spaces, right? But if I don't do that, then obviously I can't do it, or I can't command for it to be done. So same applies, Nabel. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly there. The cleaning services for me would be a learning curve and a repercussion. So I'd say, yes, the cleaning services is available, but if you don't clean up after yourselves, I am going to hit you with a penalty, and the penalty is going to pay me, and I'm going to do the services. That way you're creating a culture of cleanliness totally around the house. And that way also you're creating a good environment. If you got boys that are coming through from houses where they don't get taught these things, you are actually teaching them something new. But I am going to end off here this conversation, and I'm going to say, right, I think we have learned quite a bit on this, yeah, but I am not the guru. The guru is Retha, right? I mean, we might just call it Retha. The course is in the link somewhere. Jump on it, reserve your seat, and she will be out there teaching you. If I can give you a snippet of these things, what about the one who's actually doing it every day? There's a whole lot of things that I haven't mentioned here. And obviously in those 4 or 5 days training, 3-day training, plus the student accommodation training that is pre-recorded, you also get to have access of that. So you can get in there by just providing, you're buying it for less than $2,000, right? Less than $2,000 gives you access to Retha for 3 consecutive days where she's teaching you about student accommodation. Who is it for? It is for people that are wanting to learn. It is for people that are already having maybe 1 or 2 student accommodation, wanting to go a little bit bigger. And yeah, I am hoping that we're going to see you. For some other people, I got a few phone calls. TJ, how can you close the fundraising? How can you close the fundraising when it wasn't month end? I said, how come? I said, apparently some people get paid on the 7th and the what and the 15th. And we started this thing on the 1st and we closed off on the 1st. So they were not prepared. Well, the thing is that I am very sorry. I want to say that out first, to say I am sorry that we couldn't accommodate everyone. Unfortunately, sometimes that's what life is all about, right? You can't accommodate everyone. However, what I'm going to be doing is that our normal, like, so people are calling me as like, TJ, yeah, but you know, I'm getting like a 5% at the bank, a 6%. I was going to pull that money out. Our normal investment hasn't stopped, where you get a 15%, 14% flat, and there's no ownership or anything like that, right? It's just the premier investor that we've been talking about. That is still going. So you can invest there, and on a year-on-year, you know, you can get your returns 14%, 15%. It's much better than at the bank, right? So that's what I can say. But at the moment, the fundraising for M5 charge, I am very sorry that it is closed, but it is what it is. And we are working with the people that have now put in their money in there, and we are going to be doing some cool things there. But do not despair. You can still invest, but it's not just for the ownership part. I hope that makes sense. It's been great hanging out with you. I'll be seeing you again soon. Hey, God bless. Goodbye. Cheers.